Hello everyone, Artemu the Violet Wizard here, and today we're continuing the Pokémon FireRed Nuzlocke. Last time we managed to defeat Blaine, the 7th gym leader, earning us our 7th gym badge, and then we took a detour over to the Sebi Islands in order to catch some more Pokémon as well as do some side quests in that area. But this time we are back in the mainland of Kanto, and depending on how things go, this could be the second to last session that we do for this series. It's definitely been quite the ride that we have been on, and oh boy, I'm excited for what we're going to be doing here today. So yeah, this session we are going to be taking on the final gym leader, but before we do that, there's one last major thing that I want to take care of before we do that. There is one last dungeon that I feel is worth visiting purely so that we can get another encounter. So I want to quickly show off the team that we currently have. I ground up all the Pokemon I plan on using today to level 50, so that they would all be optimally prepared for the fights that we will be facing today. Because yeah, we got a lot of battles coming up, and we're going to need to do even more training afterwards in order to make sure we are fully prepared for what's to come. So yeah, this is going to be an interesting challenge, I can definitely say that much. Yeah, we are out here back on Route 10, because there's an area we're able to access after you acquire Surf. We could have gone here much sooner, but I decided to wait a while before we actually did that. Wow, you came all the way here? Maybe you're a Pokemaniac too. Don't lump me in with you! So got Mark over here. A pretty remote trainer that you're likely not even gonna know is even here. Yeah, this battle's notable for one reason, as we will see in a little bit. Let's have Khalifa handle this Rhyhorn. And then your next Pokemon is Lickitung. Yeah, I'm not too scared about this thing. It's a normal type. Its stats are kind of so it's gonna go down pretty easily. And now we're taking out another trainer. I'm not angry. So that guy taken care of, we got ourselves a new area that we can explore here. The power plant. This area is quite interesting. It's not a really long dungeon, but there's definitely quite a bit to this place. And there's also quite a few items that are worth picking up, so I can easily recommend coming in here for that. But the reason I came in here is because there is certain Pokemon that we're able to catch here. Of the available options we have here, we can catch Pikachu and Magnemite. But there's one other Pokemon that you can find here exclusively in Pokémon FireRed. And personally, I think it would be awesome if we were able to run into that as our encounter here. It's like the rarest Pokemon you can find in the power plant, but I would so love it if we were able to get it for our encounter. Yeah, this area is definitely... Oh, so that's what we're going to be doing. Alright, Pikachu is our catch here. It's definitely a cute little Pokemon. So, Pikachu, traditionally, is a very fast and offensive Pokemon. Doesn't have the best defensive stats, it's mostly about power and speed. But it is a decently good one. I've been a big fan of this Pokemon for quite a few years, using a lot of teams. It's a good one. Pikachu, the mouse Pokemon. It has small electric sacs on both its cheeks. If friend, it loses electric charges from the sacs. This Pokemon would also start a trend where every generation would have its own electric mouse Pokemon. And for the most part, the other electric rodents can be good under the right circumstances. But some of them are very underpowered. I'm not the biggest fan of a few of them. But the one that started all, Pikachu, it's so iconic. Just look at this little guy. He's so adorable. Alright, so for this Pikachu, what are we going to call you? Seems like a bit of a basic name, but just thinking of other iconic yellow characters, we're gonna call you Jake. And he gets sent off to the box. We're likely not gonna need to use Jake unless something were to go horribly wrong with one of our teammates, but we should be pretty fine. Alright, so now that we missed our opportunity to acquire it, I felt like it would be a good time just to talk about the Pokemon we could have gotten here. So, exclusive to Pokemon FireRed, ooh, TM for Protect, that's real good. If you're playing FireRed, there's a Pokemon you can catch in the power plant called Electabuzz. That is a pretty strong Pokemon. Definitely one that can be worth picking up, because it is really dang strong. It would eventually receive an evolution in the next couple of games, but here it is still pretty good in terms of its power. Also, you can also run into these things here. We've got plenty of electrodes that are hiding among the item balls in this area, so definitely want to be cautious when exploring this place. Luckily, Khalifa should be able to outspeed most of the threats in this area, so we just grab what we need. Ooh, Thunder. So that is basically a stronger version of Thunderbolt, but it's also less accurate unless it's raining. It's definitely a pretty interesting move. Has some good utility, but don't feel like we're going to be relying on that. Also, we can pick up a Thunderstone here, so we can immediately evolve that Pikachu we just caught. Probably not going to, considering I don't plan on using it on the team unless something were to happen to a certain electric type we have. Let's not worry about that. But yeah, along with Electabuzz, if you're playing Leaf Green, there's another Pokemon that you could acquire on Mount Ember. It's a fire type called Magmar. So, yeah, definitely some interesting rare Pokemon you're able to get exclusive to the different versions you might be playing. I felt that there was a hidden item in that spot, and I was right on the money. Huh, look at that. And that concludes our trip through Route 10 and this dungeon. It's definitely an interesting ride coming here, but it's definitely worth it. We got ourselves some good swag for our troubles. Oh, and there's another hidden item out here. It's definitely good to use the item finder as many times as you can, because you can usually pick up some good stuff. And there was a max Ether hidden there. That is quite good. Alright, but now that we've gotten that taken care of, it's the last main catch I wanted to do before we go take on the Viridian Gym. Because yeah, we're going all the way back to Viridian City. It's been a lengthy ride, but it's finally time. At this point, I really don't feel like there's anywhere else that we need to go to get more encounters, so this is going to be it. We've definitely been building a pretty formidable team over the course of this adventure, and I couldn't be more proud of this band of misfits we managed to build. It's been quite a ride seeing them develop over the course of this adventure, and this journey is already very close to its conclusion, so it's definitely making me feel a few things. Alright. So for this gym, we're going to want to make sure we are optimally prepared for what's to come. And it'd be a good idea to box Kindle. And who else are we going to think about? Actually, I think we can box Valium. I don't think he's going to be too useful in here. And we'll bring in Sarah. The rest of the team is looking pretty good, and we should be good to go. Yeah, I am really excited for what's going to happen in this session. It's definitely been a wild ride, and just knowing that we are already so close to the end of this adventure has me feeling so good, but also pretty melancholy. definitely invested a lot of time into the series, and just knowing it's almost over, it's definitely a feeling that I feel every content creator gets to feel every now and then. But yep, we are back here in Viridian City. To talk to you, Viridian's gym leader returned. So this only becomes available after you have managed to defeat Blaine and the other gym leaders. You need to have 7 badges in order to be able to access this place. Yo, champ of the making! Even I don't know the Viridian leader's identity. One thing's certain, this will be the toughest of all the gym leaders. Also, I heard the trainers here like ground-type Pokemon. That's definitely true, but it's not the only Pokemon we'll be seeing here. Oh, geez, you have a whip? What's wrong with you, guy? You use a whip to train Pokemon? That's highly abusive. But yeah, we got ourselves a pretty interesting gym. So our buddy, the gym guide, suggested bringing... Well, he suggested that ground type would be the main specialty of this gym. And yeah, it is a ground type gym. But the trainers here kind of use a good amount of different Pokemon. So you just can't fully expect to see only ground types in this area. Be prepared for anything. But for dealing with some of the threats we'll be facing here, ground is certainly a defensive typing, much less like rock. It's also a pretty offensive one, along with the defensive potential. It's certainly a pretty nice typing, being able to have an immunity to electric, which is definitely very nice, while also being strong against electric, the only type that has that distinction. Yeah, it also is a type that comes with a lot of weaknesses. Like if you have grass, water, and ice, then you'll definitely have a pretty easy time taking out some of the Pokemon here. And a lot of ground types in this game also happen to be part rock. So you can take advantage of rock weaknesses to just really capitalize on the damage. Ouch! Whiplash! Yeah, you deserve that for bringing a whip in here, buddy. How could you use that to train Pokemon? Karate is the ultimate form of martial arts. So we even got martial artists in this area. A lot of threats we can expect here. But yeah, in terms of other Pokemon that'd be good in this area, flying types would also be pretty good to bring in here, since ground type Pokemon cannot attack flying types with ground moves. So that gives you a pretty nice advantage for being able to handle them. Also, Pokemon that have the levitate ability, like coughing and wheezing, also have a good advantage here. There's just a lot of options that you can use to deal with this area, and by this point in the adventure, you should definitely have enough Pokemon to be able to counter a lot of the ground types we'll be seeing here. Viridian Gym was closed for a long time, but now our leader is back. Yeah, I wonder what he was doing while we were in the middle of our adventure. It couldn't have been that important. I got ourselves a Sandslash here. Let's go to Aether for this. I'm fully expecting Aether to just completely dominate this gym, but give him a little bit of action against the small fry before we take on the big boss. So yeah, while we are in the middle of taking care of these battles, what's some other stuff that we can talk about? Well, I'm in the middle of a day off at the moment, and I'm definitely enjoying that break from work, because oh boy, I was working over the weekend and it was very busy. So exhausted from that. But luckily, I'm feeling pretty good today. Especially because I went out for lunch a little while ago, and I grabbed myself some chicken fingers. Always a very nice bit of comfort food I like to have every now and then. It's definitely very nice. And yeah, besides that, the rest of the day has been pretty good. Just checking out a few videos while I was also getting some more progress in Genshin Impact, since I've been playing a lot of that. Ooh, Nidoking. So we previously have this Pokemon, but that's the final form of male Nidoran. Definitely a pretty strong and offensive poison ground type. Luckily, it's not anything we need to worry about because we got Aether. I was beaten. Yes, you were. But yeah, in terms of some of the stuff that's been going on, yeah, like I said, I've been making a lot more progress in Genshin Impact. Amount of progress I've been making has been pretty good. So I've mostly been focusing on exploring Sumeru at the current stage of the game that I am at, and it's definitely been a fun time. Like, one of the things I recently started doing, since I recently wished up some new characters, one of which being Candace, who, in order to level her up, requires getting some resources in a section of Sumeru that I hadn't been exploring until just recently. So I finally felt the motivation to head out into the desert section of Sumeru. Yeah, it's kind of a neat contrast between this region and some of the other areas, in that Sumeru is divided into two sections. How the first half you go into is this big, vibrant jungle that has just so much stuff condensed into it. It's just such a vibrant place to explore. And then the second half of it is this vast desert, which is just it's full of sandy dunes, rocky, just a lot of rocky landscapes and ancient ruins to explore. So it's definitely been pretty fun getting to explore this new section of the game that I hadn't previously been to. Definitely been having a lot of fun with it. Like, I obviously really enjoy Genshin for a number of reasons. When I first picked up the game, there was only Mondstadt and Liyue in terms of areas that you can explore. And just over the years, the different updates that they've given to the game have definitely improved it so much. Like, Mondstadt is a pretty fine starting area for the adventure, and I definitely felt like Liyue was a much better area to explore, just with its more mountainous areas, and I really like the Chinese influence that place has in terms of its inspiration. But my god, Sumeru has been so much fun to explore. I love having this massive area that just has so much stuff concentrated into it, and how it's divided between a jungle and a desert area. My god, is it amazing. And yeah, I'm also pretty excited to get to explore some of the other areas. So I still haven't visited Inazuma yet, even though that's the next main objective that I need in the game. I'll get to it pretty soon. And then I still haven't been to Fontaine or Natlan, but I'll get there eventually. Especially because I got a few Fontaine characters that I'm definitely going to need to level up sometime soon. Yeah, in terms of some of the other characters I managed to pull recently, one of them that I've been leveling up is a character called Layla. Really like her design, and just her overall theming, how she's this character themed around astronomy, and how she also is a bit of a very sleepy person, which I think is pretty cute with her. Yeah, really love her design. I'm really excited to get to use her in battle, but it's gonna be a little while, because I still need to keep leveling her up. I mean, she's almost on par with the rest of my main fighters, so that's pretty good. So yeah, with the way my current world level is in the game, pretty good in terms of my world level. It's currently at 5, which I know it can go higher than that. And I actually decreased it to level 4 just to make it a bit easier on some of my characters to be able to battle. But yeah, it's been an interesting time going through some of the things we need to with this current world level. And it'll definitely be nice to make things a bit stronger so that we can get some better enemy drops, which which is always very good for leveling up our characters. It's also been a bit of a grind, of course, getting everyone trained up, as it's very much one of those games where... what am I trying to say? Like, the game is totally free. You can download it without having to pay a single cent. But it has a lot of mechanics to it where if you pay real money to get certain resources, it allows you to acquire things at a much faster rate. So it's definitely one of those games where you do invest some real money in order to be able to actually improve a lot more. But, you know, you don't need to spend money with the game in order to level up your characters, because you freely get the resources you need just from the normal gameplay and from waiting a couple hours in real time to be able to replenish certain resources, so it's all good. And at this point, with how much content is in the game now, yeah, I highly recommend Genshin. It's just such a fun time. Between all the different stuff you can do. Yeah, it can get grindy, but for the most part, I don't mind it. This gives me a lot of opportunities to explore this world, and there's always, like, new surprises you can find. And a lot of different quests that you can get to accept. There's definitely a few I've gone recently that have been pretty interesting. Like, one of the missions I've gone recently in Sumeru is this mission where I'm exploring this massive pyramid alongside this team of researchers, and it's definitely been really cool getting to explore this big area. I see that guy over there. Alright, if we're gonna need to go forward, so we're gonna need to get this guy to come down. So we'll go over this way to trigger him. I'm the Karate King, your fate rests with me. Alright, Karate King, let's do this. But yeah, it's definitely been pretty fun going through Genshin again. So don't know how much I'm going to be playing this game, considering that we do have the Nintendo Switch 2 coming out next month, and oh man, that's going to be so much fun when we get it. I'm so excited for the new Mario Kart. And a bunch of the other games that are coming out later. Like, between the new Donkey Kong game, Metroid Prime Beyond, and Pokemon Legends ZA. Yeah, there's a lot of good games coming out for the new system. I'm really excited for it. Of course, the price for the system is also a little not too great, but considering the other options in this industry, yeah, it's perfectly fine. Like, I am a die-hard Nintendo fan. I don't see myself getting an Xbox or PlayStation console for quite a while. The Pokemon League, you don't get cocky. We'll see about that when I'm through with your gym leader. Alright, so for the next fight we're gonna do... Yeah, I think we are good to just head straight into the main event here. Raditz, we are gonna lead this battle with you, and hopefully things are gonna go well. Let's do a bit of healing, and we should be good to begin this battle. Alright, it's time to face the gym leader. Oh, you motherfucker! Welcome to my hideout. It shall be so until I can restore Team Rocket to its former glory. But you found me again. So be it. This time I'm not holding back. Once more you shall face Giovanni, the greatest trainer. Yeah, big shocker. Giovanni, the leader of Team Rocket, is the Viridian City gym leader. It's like definitely not the biggest secret in this series, but back in the day, this blew my frickin' mind that this guy was our final opponent here. But yeah, Giovanni, of course, specializes in ground types, which we saw that he did favor over the course of our battles with this guy. He starts with Rhyhorn, which really isn't too bad to deal with. Next up is going to be Dugtrio. This one can be a bit nasty because it is very fast, but we should be good. Yeah, Radis can just heal up with Giga Drain. We are going to be real set for these next battles. It's going to be no trouble for us. Alright, next opponent is Nidoqueen. Alright, for you, I think it's time that we switch out. Sarah, you can take this one. Nidoqueen, of course, being a poison ground type and very bulky. Luckily, it's not that offensive, so we should be able to take that pretty well. Alright, I'm gonna go for Hypnosis and then Dream Eater so that we can recover some health. But, yeah, missing that one I don't really like. Alright, I do not want to take more damage than is necessary here. Also, I do not want to risk a critical hit against this thing, because that would be very bad for us. Oh, come on, Sarah! You can do better than that. I know I could just finish this thing in one hit, but I really don't want to take unnecessary risks. If we can just land this Hypnosis, we'd be good. There we go. Now we can eat your dreams. Alright, that takes care of Nidoqueen. Very good work there, Sarah. Then next opponent is Nidoking, the more offensive of the Nidoran family. This guy could definitely be a pain if we let it attack us, so gonna go for the Hypnosis, and then we'll just eat your dreams. Oh, come on! You had a full heal the whole time and didn't use it until just now? Screw you, man. Okay. Should be fine here. Yeah, just put up the Hypnosis and we're good. Yeah, this guy can really hit us hard if we let it, so want to be real careful here. And that guy is out of here. And your final Pokemon is Rhyhorn. So here's the thing. If you're playing the original Red and Blue and Yellow, or if you're playing Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, Giovanni's strongest Pokemon would be Rhyhorn's evolution, Rhydon. But in Fire Red and Leaf Green, for whatever reason, they just give him a level 50 Rhyhorn instead of giving him the fully evolved Rhydon. I do not know why they did this in this game. It's really weird. Ha! That was a truly intense fight. You have won. As proof, here is the Earth Badge. Victory is ours. The Earth Badge makes Pokemon of any level obey without question. It's evidence of your mastery as a Pokemon trainer. With it, you can challenge the Pokemon League. Also, take this TM. Consider it a gift for your Pokemon League challenge. And with that, we get TM26. TM26 contains Earthquake. It's a powerful attack that causes a massive tremor. I made it when I ran the gym here far too long ago. So yeah, that is definitely a very nice prize for us to get for beating Giovanni here. So 100 base power attack. Certainly be very nice to teach to someone on our team. So we'll figure out who eventually. Having lost in this fashion, I can't face my followers. I have betrayed their trust. As of today, Team Rocket is finished forever. As for myself, I shall dedicate my life to training again. Let us meet again someday. Farewell. And with that, Giovanni leaves. And if we use our item finder in the spot where Giovanni is, we can obtain a Macho Brace. That is a very special item. It lowers the speed of the Pokemon that's holding it, but it increases the amount of effort values that the Pokemon receives when it defeats a Pokemon. So it's very nice for raising up your team. It can be very useful if you want to try and min-max their stats. But yeah, with that, it's everything that we can do with Giovanni and Team Rocket. At least in the main story of this game. There's an entire post-game subplot with the remnants of Team Rocket there, but we don't need to worry about that in this leg of our adventure. We've already beaten those guys down. But yeah, with that battle over, there is only one destination left for us. And that is going to be the Pokemon League. And with it, the grand finale of this series of streams that we have been doing. I am so excited for this, but also feeling a bit melancholy. Alright, so before we go into this one, we need to make sure that we are optimally prepared for what's to come. And considering what we can expect to see from this particular fight that's coming up, just want to make sure we swap around the team a bit. I'm thinking about all the different options that we could have for this. Yeah, we could swap Flandra for Kindle. I think that'd be a good idea. And yeah, I feel like this is gonna be a good team for what's to come. So I still haven't exactly narrowed down which Pokemon we're gonna be using in the grand finale when we finally take on the Pokemon League, but this is as good a team as any. For now, let's just move forward. So to get to the Pokemon League, we need to head to Route 22. It's a place we have visited a few times in our adventure previously, mostly so that we could catch one of our teammates. It's been very helpful over the course of this journey, but of course, it's not the only thing we have to do here. It's time for us to move forward. Oh, god damn it! What? Hayden, what a surprise to see you here! So, you're going to the Pokemon League? You collected all the badges too? That's cool. Then I'll whip you, Hayden, as a warm-up for the Pokemon League. Come on! How many times do we have to teach you this lesson, Elijah? Yep, we got one more battle with our rival before we can challenge the Pokemon League. This one is definitely no joke, but at the same time, it's really not too bad. He's leading off with his Pidgeot, which is pretty easy for us to take down. It's this big bird. Still has a big weakness to electricity. Really should do something about that, man. Next up is Rhyhorn. Alright, so we'll definitely want to swap you out. Let's bring in Aether. Want to be absolutely certain that we're going to be okay for this. Alright, since you completely missed that attack, I'm going to take this opportunity to heal up Coilette, just because I'm a little bit worried about one Pokemon that we could see on this guy's team. Is that really the best you can do, buddy? Alright, we'll just wash you away with Surf, and we should be good. Yep, it's pretty good. And what will you be sending out next? Next is Execute. Alright, for these egg boys, we're gonna go to Kindle. These should just cook them up real good. Oh, come on, not the Stun Spore. It's alright, that shouldn't be too bad. Oh, it's got Solar Beam. Luckily, we don't need to worry about that doing too much damage to Kindle. And you're dead anyway. Very good. So taking care of you. Next up is Gyarados. Big, scary sea monster. Alright, Coilette, it's your time to shine. Oh boy. So that thing tried to hit us with a Hydro Pump. It's one of the strongest water type attacks in the game. And while Gyarados isn't the best special attacker, that can still hurt. Really glad that Coilette dodged that attack. Oh boy. Next up is Alakazam. This one should be a bit more formidable than the last time we faced his Alakazam. Yeah, an interesting gimmick with the Alakazam he used back in Silphco is that its only damaging attack is Future Sight. Yeah, really. Luckily, Valium should be more than prepared for dealing with this thing. It's gonna buff its stats with Calm Mind, but we should be good. Valium is very bulky and strong. Yep, just takes care of that Alakazam anyway. Very good. And then our last opponent here is, of course, his ace, Charizard. We could switch over to Aether or Wilma to deal with this thing now, but Valium should be able to tank whatever attack this Charizard's going to do. So let's open up with a Body Slam and see if we can paralyze this thing. Yeah, that Wing attack did barely any damage. Alright, and it's paralyzed. That is real good. So pretty much any attack can take this thing out at this point. And it's even slower than Valium right now. That is real good. So yeah, we can just let our big bear deal with this big scary dragon here, and we should be good. Oh, that is beautiful. That was a good fight. Man, I love this bear. What? I was just careless, you? Yeah, you were careless, all right. Because I can care less about you. That loosened me up. I'm ready for the Pokemon League. Hayden, you need more practice. Hey, you know that? I'm out of here. Smell ya. God, he always just has to have the last word, doesn't he? Even though I'm the one who kicked his patootie. But yeah, that battle was sure something. We managed to get through that pretty unscathed, which is definitely good news for us. Definitely shows that we are more than prepared for the battles that are to come in this next area. Considering what we can expect to find going forward, there's a few things I want to do to prepare ourselves. So I want to quickly grab a few more healing items, because we definitely spent a lot the last time we were when we were doing things. So just bear with me a moment while we get this set up. Flandra, we're gonna need you back in the party, girl. And I'm gonna fly down to Cinnabar Island, as this is pretty much the best place to buy items for the time being. Alright, let's grab a few more hyper potions. We'll get 10 of these. I got a surplus of money from all the training I've been doing, so definitely are more than prepared for what's to come. Don't need full heals. And we'll grab a few max repels. These will make the next area we have to go through a bit more tolerable. Yeah, with that, we should be all set for our next objective. Alright, so let's head back to Viridian, and let's get our team prepared for what we can expect to see. Alright, so for this one, we'll definitely need to bring in Aether. And, Flan, you've been pretty good for us, but don't feel like you're gonna be that necessary. Especially because we got Sarah to deal with any fighting types we can expect to see. Valium's definitely a good choice here. Pretty solid overall. Definitely need Wilma because she's our strength user, and is just good in general. Yeah, we got a good balance between elemental and physical skills with this set, so we should be good. So it's very sad that these guys won't be able to accompany us on this leg of our journey, but don't worry, we'll see most of you again. So with that all taken care of, I believe that we are ready for the next leg of our adventure. Everyone is all healed up. Also completely forgot to mention this because we didn't really get to use it, but while training up Kindle, he actually learned a new attack, Extreme Speed. This is a very special priority attack, in that it is pretty strong at 80 base power, but it's also notable in that it has double priority, which means that if our opponent were to use Quick Attack, and we chose to use Extreme Speed on the same turn, we are guaranteed to go faster than our opponent, even if they use Quick Attack. This is a very, very elusive move that only a few Pokemon can get. So I'm very happy that we got to show this off with Kindle here. That is definitely going to be helpful to us. But yeah, but feel like that's the only notable new move we were able to get from training up our Pokemon, so it's time for us to press on and on and on. So we got one more area to go through before we can reach our final destination. Ah, dear memories of when we first ventured off on this grand adventure with our Bulbasaur, who is now dead. Before going forward, it'd be nice to stock up on items. Grab as many potions and Pokeballs as you feel your need, and then it's time to go forward. Oh, that's the Boulder Badge. Go right ahead. So in this area, we have these guards that will block your progress unless you have acquired the gym badges. So you're not able to fully go through this area, which, by the way, is a new route, so we can technically grab another Pokemon here, even though it's probably not going to be necessary for us. Yeah, but this is gonna be pretty cool going through here. Another thing I like of this area is the music here is so good. It really sells the feel that this is going to be your final challenge that you are heading towards. Yeah, the build up here to eventually getting to our final destination, it is so good. Is there a hidden item here? There is! Someone put something on this island. Ooh, Max Ether. That's definitely worth it to grab. Let's move forward once more. sorry. I'm gonna talk to you in the water. It's funny, back in the Gen 1 games, these guards here in this water area are actually swimmers. So, yeah, that's a fun little detail about that. We're almost done here. We actually got an area with grass. So we can take this opportunity to get one last catch. With that said, who would I even need for this? Coilette can Thunder Wave whatever we come across. Unless it's the one Pokemon that is immune to electric-type damage. We'll see. Yeah, we can try to see if we can acquire one last Pokemon here before we head into the final dungeon of our adventure. Yeah, of course, I would also feel the need to mention that there are some other areas that we have not gotten to fully explore over the course of this adventure. Like, we still haven't seen the bottom of the Sea Foam Islands, and we haven't triggered our encounters with any of the legendary Pokemon that have been hyped up at certain parts of our adventure. But I just feel like making our ultimate goal for this run being the Pokemon League is a suitable end to this stream series. And who knows, we might actually go back to this game at some point in the future and try to grab the remaining content that we have here while still doing Nuzlocke rules. I feel like that would be a fun thing that we could do sometime in the future. But yeah, for the time being, I don't feel it's overly necessary for us to show off the post-game content. Especially because I already did that when I played through Leaf Green on my Twitch channel. And I'll be uploading all of the VODs from that over here eventually, so yeah, I just don't think that's going to be overly necessary. Alright, I know there are Pokemon that we can catch on this route. You are not what I want to see. Oh, okay, it seems that I was mistaken. So, turns out we already have every Pokemon that we can catch on this route. At least from walking. Yeah, the only other things we don't have are version exclusives. I must have been thinking one of the older games, because I know that in Gen 1, you can, like, run into the Nidoran family of Pokemon here. And I think also Cubone. But yeah, we don't need to worry about that at the moment. We're just doing some unnecessary catches, but you know, just need to figure all that out. You can pass here only if you have the Volcano badge. That we do have, mister. It was the one we acquired in the last session we did. We are close to the end now. So we head up here. Oh, that's the Earth badge. Okay then, please go right ahead. And we can pick up a citrus berry right there. Very nice. So yep, up ahead is the final dungeon of the game. At least in the main story that we can see. So yeah, this one is going to be interesting. Also, considering what we're going to be up against here, let's swap Sarah in. Just because I feel like she'll be better for dealing with whatever our first encounter is going to be. Yeah, considering the resources that we have, we should be more than equipped for what's to come. Alright, let's do this. One last journey before we face our final challenge. Victory Road. This is our last dungeon before challenging the Pokemon League, and this place has quite a bit for us to do. So this area is themed around strength puzzles. It's all about pushing these boulders that we can see on the floors to different sections of this cave in order to open the path forward. So this could be quite interesting in order to go through the challenges here. So you can see there's a big rock wall blocking the path there. And there's this big button over here. So I want to try to maneuver this boulder on top of the button, and that will open the path forward. Kind of reminds me of some of the puzzles I've actually encountered in Genshin, where using one of your Geo powers will create a boulder over top of some switches. But yeah, that opens up the path forward. It's definitely a lot of things that we can see around here, so definitely want to be careful about what you are doing here. Also, there's some very interesting things we can get. Like this guy, Onyx. Considering what we have available to us here, this could be a potentially really solid team member. Probably not going to use it, but you know, this one is still pretty darn good. Alright, Onyx here, of course, is a rock ground type. One of the earliest Pokemon we ever saw in this game in terms of bosses. And yeah, during the main adventure, it's really not the best. But once you gain access to the post-game, it becomes a really solid tank of a Pokemon. It is amazing. We have Onyx, the rock snake Pokemon. It usually lives underground, searches for food while boring its way for the ground at 50 miles per hour. Compared to other rock ground types we have seen, this one is definitely the fastest. And still got some good defense, it's just really not that good offensively, so I really cannot recommend it too much during the main story. But at the end here, what are we going to call you? Our final Pokemon of this main run. There's a particular name I have in mind. Just give me a second. Alright, my inner Steven Universe fan is coming out here. So we're gonna call you Sardonyx. Yeah, I feel like that is a pretty fitting name for you. And yep, that is gonna be the last Pokemon we'll be catching in this leg of our adventure. We definitely come so far on this journey, and we still have a lot more to show. So for this point forward, we're going to be using repels just so that we can minimize the amount of counters in this area, because, yeah, we want to make sure that our moves are adequately stocked with power points for dealing with enemies around here, as in the trainers. Also, we were able to pick up a new TM called Dragon Claw. That one could be useful, but I don't really see any point to using it with our current team. It's one of the rare instances of us gaining access to a dragon attack in this adventure, which certainly be nice. Dragon is pretty much, well, in terms of offensive typing, it pretty much does neutral damage against every Pokemon except for dragons, which it actually does super effective damage against, and against steel, where it does not very effective damage. So it can be pretty reliable if you just want to do neutral damage against an opponent. Yeah, not too much else to say about that. Got ourselves a lot of trainers we're gonna go through in order to get through this area, so we need to make sure that we just bash our way through all of them. Luckily, our team is pretty well trained, so we should be able to handle anything that they can throw at us. Ooh, Ninetales, you will go for the Earthquake. Ah, you had Fire Spin. Yeah, that one could be nasty, because it's basically the Fire-type equivalent of Wrap and Bind. It'll restrain us for a few turns, make us unable to switch out, and does residual damage at the end of every turn. But we took the Ninetales out, so it's not a problem for us here. And then we got Rapidash, certainly a pretty offensive fire type, but nothing we can't handle. Very good. And that's a level up for Wilma. God, I'm so happy that we managed to bring her this far. She's been a good Pokemon on our team ever since Mount Moon. I am so lucky we managed to get her. Alright, for the next battle, I think I'm going to lead with Kindle. And before you ask, we will be back for that item. It's just with the way the puzzle on this floor is laid out, you can only have one attempt at getting those items. But we'll grab that one in a bit. I can see you're good. Let me see exactly how good. Well, I don't mean to brag, but I've got quite a few years of Nuzlocking knowledge under my belt. So we should have a pretty good time of this. Alright, Kindle, this should be an easy one for you. Just gotta Eradicate here. We have faced plenty of these Pokemon in the past. They can be deceptively powerful, but not so much when it comes to taking damage from attacks. Next up is Wartortle. So we're gonna leave this one to Coilette. Wartortle is obviously the evolution of Squirtle, one of these starter Pokemon options we could have gotten. And yeah, this one is pretty much Squirtle, but stronger. It's very defensive, has decent offensive options. Really not much else to say. Certainly not enough to handle Coilette. Next up is Ivysaur. Yeah, this is what I was thinking you would have and why I wanted to have Kindle for this battle. Oh, Ivysaur. Feels like only yesterday that I watched you take a bone meringue to the face, utterly derailing the entire run by making it so that we couldn't use our starter fully evolved. Whatever, we're gonna play the Pokeflute, which won't bring back one of our opponent's fainted Pokemon, unlike the Pokemon TCG version of that item. Yeah, I've been playing a little bit more of a Pokemon trading card game Pocket, mostly so I can get some more cards. And at this point, I've gotten a good amount of the cards from the newest sets that I've gone back to try and obtain cards from some of the older sets that I don't have cards of. It's been a pretty good time just trying to get some new things. Like pretty recently I managed to get a Tapu Koko card from a Wonder Pick from somebody on one of the Discord servers that I'm in. So that was quite nice. I don't have any of the other Tapu cards, so I definitely appreciate that for filling up my collection. And besides that, I don't really think there was anything too major here. Also, look at that, this normal trainer has a Charizard. I mean, at this point, we have definitely encountered a lot of trainers over the course of this adventure that use starter Pokemon. So it makes sense that some of them would have them fully evolved. I had a chance! Not enough, buddy. Alright, that was still a decent enough battle. It's got plenty of healing items, so we should be all good for what's ahead. We still got quite a bit to see. Alright, now we're gonna head back this way, so that we can grab this item that we missed the first time we came here. But yeah, there really isn't much else to this cave other than strength puzzles and fighting some strong trainers. Ooh, we got a rare candy. So I'm definitely going to need as many of those as we can get, just to make sure that we are adequately prepared for what we can expect to see in the grand finale here. So got this boulder up here, but sadly, we can't push it in a way that would allow us to access that area to the north. So we're going to want to head this way. Yeah, another bit of a minor annoyance I have with Victory Road here, you have to reapply strength every time you leave a floor, and that can get old pretty quickly. I mean, it's not too bad, but, you know, it's another thing you have to focus on in this area. This here is Victory Road. It's the final test for trainers. So yeah, it becomes a running trend throughout the series that the last area you visit before the Pokemon League is Victory Road, or a Victory Road equivalent type area. And for the most part, they tend to be decently challenging. Usually the Victory Roads are just a cave, and that can get a little dull from time to time. But there are a few Victory Roads that do mix it up quite a bit. I like how the Gen 3 Victory Road has you surfing through certain sections of the cave. The Gen 4 Victory Road definitely relied on a lot of HM usage, and even had some bike-specific pathways, which definitely makes it interesting to navigate. As I previously said during my Pokemon Black streams last year, I definitely enjoyed the Pokemon Black version of the Victory Road, how you are basically climbing up this mountain and you can open up pathways that provide shortcuts between the upper and the lower floors. I definitely really like that version of the Victory Road. So over here, there's a button, but there is no boulder to go with it. So we're going to need to find a boulder on another floor to get that. Alright, can we please reapply our Max Repel? Thank you. We should have enough Max Repels to get through this area without having to worry too much of battles. We got this guy over here. See what you got. I might as well battle the trainers in this area. Don't whip me, you perv! Alright, Vincent, let's see what you got here. Shouldn't be too much trouble for Valium. But yeah, what I was going to say earlier, I'm going to take the time just to battle the trainers that we can find here in Victory Road. I know that most people, when they do these kind of challenges, they tend to avoid the trainers and then just hack in the levels for their Pokemon when they get to their final destination. I'm not doing any of that. We're going to battle as many people as we can just to make sure that we are adequately prepared for the fights ahead. Plus, the extra levels that we gain here in Victory Road will mean less time for me to have to grind up our Pokemon levels for the grand finale, which should be happening sometime next week. I don't have my work schedule for that week, so I'm gonna have to wait a little while before I can fully confirm when it's gonna be, but I'm hoping to get it done soon, and I'm hoping it's gonna be a great finale. After everything we have been through on this journey, I really hope that we can end things on a good note. I got whipped. That's what happens when you throw a dangerous weapon around, you weirdo. What about you? Is Victory Road too tough? Nah, this really isn't the worst one. I mean, there are a lot of Victory Roads in the series. Definitely one of the harder ones, I feel, is the X and Y Victory Road. Just because it has a lot of trainers, and they can actually be very formidable, because the trainers in X and Y, my god, especially in the late game, they have such good type coverage on their Pokemon. I've had quite a few instances, even when I was Nuzlocking the Gen 6 games, where I would just have so many battles that end with one of my Pokemon dying. It's just such a brutal game. I definitely recommend X and Y for the challenge factor, but my god, some of those battles can be a bit too much. Alright, we picked up the TM for Hail, so that is, that sets up the weather for Hail, which is certainly an interesting weather condition. It makes it so that ice is, well, it's a weather that is based around ice, in that ice-type Pokemon will be less susceptible to... Okay, I'm thinking of being ahead a bit to later generations. Basically, Hail will deal damage to any Pokemon on the field that isn't ice-type. So it's definitely a very quirky weather, where it only has one type of Pokemon that it really benefits. Unlike the case of, like, Sun, where it can benefit Fire and Grass Pokemon, or Sandstorm, where it benefits Rock, Ground, and Steel Pokemon. It's a bit awkward to recommend, as it's only really useful if you're building a team themed around ice. And yeah, I really can't recommend it too much, especially in this game, since there are so few ice-type Pokemon you can get in the adventure. But in any case, we're just gonna deal with this Exeggutor here. So that big guy, of course, is the evolution of Execute. Definitely a Pokemon I quite enjoy. I've used them quite a bit of times in the past. Ooh, Electro. For you, based on what you're probably packing, it'd be a good idea to switch to Wilma to deal with you. Just so that we are absolutely certain we can handle this thing. Sure, go ahead and Sonic Boom me. Is that really the best damage you could do, buddy? Just 20 base damage. Whatever. Let's get you out of here. Next up is Cloyster. For this one, Coilette would be our best bet. This thing's a very defensive water type, so I want to make sure that we got some good offensive hits here. Ooh, Spikes. So that is an instance of an entry hazard. Spikes is definitely the most well-known one, in that setting it on the field will make it so that whenever you switch to a new Pokemon, that Pokemon will take damage as it enters the field. So in this instance, because our opponent's setting out a Sand Slash, that's not good for Coilette, so we're going to have to switch to Aether. And when we switch him in, he's going to take a bit of damage. Now, some of the entry hazards have Pokemon that they don't affect. Like in the case of Spikes, I believe Flying-type Pokemon are completely immune to the damage from Spikes. And later games would add other entry hazards, like Stealth Rock, Toxic Spikes, Sticky Web, and they all have their all different uses and utility, but Spikes is pretty much the standard entry hazard. There's certainly interesting attacks, and on the right configuration of Pokemon, they can be deadly. But it's nothing we really need to worry too much about here. Oh! Aether wants to learn Hydro Pump. It's one of our strongest water-type attacks, but it's also very inaccurate. Yeah, I'm gonna pass on that. I just feel like Surf is gonna be much more reliable going forward. So it was you who beat Giovanni at Team Rocket? Well, I don't mean to toot my own horn, but yes, I did. Also, we found a Max Revive, that's useless to us. Except if we want some more money, which we're obviously going to need going forward. Alright, you guys took a little bit of a beating, so let's get you healed up. Very good. Alright, for this part, we're going to leave that boulder for now, and we're going to go over here. We're going to pick up a TM for Overheat. That is a really, really good fire attack. We'll probably want to give that to Kindle in a bit. So this move, it is a very powerful fire attack. It does 140 base damage, but it has the added effect of sharply lowering the special attack of the user. This is definitely what I call a desperation attack, where you only want to use it when it's absolutely necessary. But it is really good with the damage it does. We are definitely teaching that to Kindle before the end of this journey. Oh, that is so good. If we go down here, this is that one floor we couldn't access. Or at least that one section of the floor we couldn't do. So this section of the map is a bit interesting. If you're playing Pokemon Red or Blue or Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, Victory Road here is actually where you can encounter the legendary Pokemon Moltres. In Fire Red and Leaf Green, this Pokemon has instead been moved over to Mount Ember. And by scaling that mountain, you get the chance of encountering that legendary Pokemon. But yeah, it's pretty interesting how they completely changed the location of this thing. Alright, next up is a Lapras. I'm gonna go for Coilette for this one. So Lapras can be a bit tricky for us. This thing has really good stats. Definitely more of a defensive Pokemon, but it's still really good offensively. Like, Sping is setting up the rain to boost the power of its water attacks. So that could be an instance where we want to teach Thunder to Coilette. As when it's raining, Thunder's accuracy becomes 100% effective. So that makes it really good. It's definitely an attack that pairs really well with any water types you may have on your team. So it's definitely a strategy to consider for the future. That said, I definitely have a lot of things I need to prepare between leveling up our Pokemon, visiting some previous areas to try and get some TMs that we might have missed. But yeah, we'll deal with all of that in the future. We'll definitely be spending a good amount of time this week planning out what we're going to do for our grand finale, but it should be a good time. But yeah, if we were going over here, this is actually the spot where you could encounter Moltres. They put this big crater here, kind of showing like, yeah, this is where it used to nest. And I like that little detail about this area. Alright, but now we've taken care of that. We need to push this boulder all the way to the western section of this room if we're going to make progress. So to push you, need to apply another repel. So while we're going through the rest of this area, something else I want to mention. So there is a channel that I follow called Wild Card. It's sort of a collaborative channel with a bunch of different creators, like Jaden Animations and AlphaRad, and I spent the last couple of years playing a bunch of different games. But very recently they announced that they were no longer going to update the channel and just have it be a kind of hotspot where people could check it out and get to know a lot of the different content creators and some of the stuff they do. Which is very nice because they certainly upload it quite a bit. And it'll be nice to visit every now and then. And yeah, there's a lot of stuff from that they did I really like, and the last video they posted was actually a sort of Pokemon Nuzlocke relay run where they were doing, where they had different content creators playing through Pokemon FireRed and Leaf Green. It was specifically Leaf Green because I know that they use a Slowbro in their party, and that's a Pokemon you can only get in Leaf Green. But yeah, they were playing through Leaf Green, and every time that a player managed to defeat the gym leader, they would then hand off that game to another content creator, and then they would get to handle the next portion of the game. And it was a very fun video. I definitely enjoyed it quite a lot. Like, there are definitely some aspects of it that I definitely got a kick out of. Like, the portion of the race that FireRed was given was, of course, he had to battle against Sabrina, who, if anyone doesn't know, the first time that FireRed challenged Sabrina back in his original Nuzlocke video, she utterly wrecked FireRed's team, and it almost caused him to fully wipe. So, yeah, it was pretty interesting seeing him go back into that fight and just absolutely troll the shit out of Sabrina. It was so freaking funny. Oh, man, I definitely got a kick out of that. So, yeah, we got a new face here, Chansey. This is one of the rarest Pokemon you can find in the game, as it is only found inside of the Safari Zone. It has a 1% encounter rate in a certain section of the Safari Zone. And yeah, this thing is pretty darn good. Well, somewhat. So the thing with Chansey, its specialty is HP and special defense. It is obviously meant to be a tank. And you know what this Pokemon doesn't excel at? Attack and defense. It's like, I think this thing's base attack and defense stats are both 5. It is that weak offensively and defensively. But yeah, this Pokemon is mainly built in order to soak up hits. So it's upping its evasiveness now to make it harder to hit. And if you were to go against this thing using special attacks, it would definitely take a while to wear it down. So yeah, that's definitely a reason to make sure you have a Pokemon that can hit both defensive stats well, as that's definitely the key to being able to win some of these battles. Yeah, that was a pretty decent fight, all things considered. But now the path's open here, we can challenge some of these folks. Only the chosen can pass here. Oh, this guy kind of giving me some Zealot vibes. But yeah, but another thing with a video that I was briefly talking about with Wildcard. Another part of the race I found pretty fun is that... Oh, come on, Mudshot, really? Yeah, I am not going to keep Coilet against... Actually, we should be fine. We still easily outspeed this thing, and we have Thunderbolt. We should be good. Yeah, that just took me by surprise is all. Yeah, for whatever reason, the Krabby line do learn Mudshot, which I guess gives them some coverage, but it's really not that great. Yeah, Coilet's a bit slow, but she's still the fastest frickin' Kanto Pokemon we're gonna see in this adventure, so she should be able to handle whatever else is coming out here. And if not, then feel free to put an egg on my face. Okay, Tentacruel, that's more of a special defensive Pokemon, so you may want to swap for this one. Sarah, you should be able to handle this. Alright, it's going for Barrier to bulk up its defense. Definitely one of the attacks that Tentacruel is known for. It's definitely a very defensive Pokemon, so being able to have that move is definitely a plus for it. Okay, yeah, Sarah should easily be able to handle this thing. And whatever the final Pokemon's gonna be, I mean, I have a good idea given this guy's using water types. So there's a specific Pokemon we have not encountered yet, and I have a good feeling we'll be seeing it soon. Now, next up is Blastoise, the final evolution in the Squirtle family. Look at this guy. He is obviously built as a tank, having really good defenses and some pretty good offensive stats too. Yeah, this thing is no joke. It is real good. In a few ways, I would even call it the most optimal Pokemon to use in the Generation and 1 games. Because it is just so bulky, it can pretty much stand up to anything. And yeah, I just feel in general this thing is just real good. So really like to put you to sleep again. I know I outspeed you, so we should be good here. I'm a little worried because this thing's set up to rain, and if it has Hydro Pump, that could be trouble. Then again, given its current level, it probably doesn't have Hydro Pump, but better safe than sorry. At the very least, I know Sarah can take a special attack, so we should be good. Yep, and then we can finish you off with another Dream Eater, and we should be good. God, speaking of Pokemon I'm so proud we were able to bring on this journey, Sarah's been a tremendous help ever since we got her. I've always had an affinity for Drowsy, because despite them not being the strongest Psychic types, they're still pretty good. They have their good strengths with them with their high special defense, and their selection of status moves. She has definitely been a worthwhile partner on this journey, and we could not have gotten this far without her. I can say that about a lot of our Pokemon, but Sarah especially has been so good. Alright, with that battle taken care of, I believe this next trainer is mainly going to use Grass type, so Kindle should be good for this one. But yeah, as I was trying to say before, one of the funny things with the wildcard video that was posted, one of the Pokemon they actually use in that run that I found was pretty interesting that they went with is Tangela. Like, they brought Tangela to the Hall of Fame in that game, which I find very amusing because in one of my earlier sessions, I pretty much basically said, and there's not really any reason to use Tangela over Pokemon like Vileplume and Victory Bell. Boy, how wrong I was! So yeah, that thing was actually pretty good on their run. Good for them for actually bringing Tangela to the Hall of Fame. Probably the first time I've ever seen someone bring a Tangela to the Hall of Fame, actually, so yeah, that's definitely something. But boy. But I guess in terms of some other stuff that's been going on, so something I'm very happy to see is that Chugga Conroy has started re-uploading his, well, he's been resuming his Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess Let's Play. He's been out of commission for a couple days due to some dental issues, but it seems like he is well enough now that he can actually get some content in for the time being, so very excited to see him uploading again. Especially because with a portion of the game he is at, there's some interesting stuff coming up in that portion of Twilight Princess. So I'm very excited to see him cover all that. Especially with the portion of the game where you are trying to defend a carriage that's transporting people from enemies. That is just such a cool sequence. I know some people have trouble with it, but it's not too bad the last time I played it. I've actually been meaning to play through Twilight Princess again since Emil's been doing his Let's Play. I'll definitely give that a little bit of time after he finishes the game. It's because I don't want to be too front-loaded with that. Ah, so you wish to challenge the Elite Four. That I do, sir, that I do. Otherwise I wouldn't be here now, would I? Alright, Nelson here. Ha ha! It's got Drowsy, Pokemon I was just praising earlier. Sadly, you're not gonna last against us, but, you know. Still happy to see you here. Speaking of Legend of Zelda, so I've actually been seeing some highlights from a streamer I follow called Masay, where she has recently been playing through The Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past, which I find quite interesting that this is basically her first time going through that game, and she certainly had a lot of interesting moments so far in her playthrough. Like, she had a pretty interesting time against Moldorm, which is one of the more infamous bosses in the game. So yeah, definitely been getting a kick out of seeing her reactions to A Link to the Past. It's been a fun time going through it. And I've actually been meaning sometime soon, I would really like to do another randomizer run for that game. Considering the fact that I've already uploaded a Link to the Past randomizer on this channel from my old Twitch VODs, but I do want to do a new version of that. So I think that would be really fun just to see what sequence of events I go through the game that is different from what I went through previously, you know? So yeah, that would be really fun to me. Really excited to eventually get to that. But I still have some other ideas for games I would like to stream after we're done FireRed. Just want to give me some time to prepare. Especially considering... what was I gonna say? Elijah also came through here. Oh, really? He just beats me every single step of the way. So go over here. We're trying to become champions together. So we got ourselves a FireRed and Leaf Green exclusive double battle with the cool couple here. I got Nidoqueen and Nidoking. Two Pokemon that we are more than familiar with given our previous adventures in this session. Alright, Sarah, you're going to take care of Nidoking as it's the more offensive Pokemon. And then Valium, you go for Nidoqueen. Hopefully we're able to end this battle pretty easily. Yep, there goes King. So that should be a pretty easy battle here. I don't see Queen doing too much damage to us. Yeah, that body slam really wasn't that bad. And then, okay, we got poisoned, but that's fine. We can just recover our health after this. Let's go for Psychic to finish you off, and we'll click Body Slam because that's all Valiant can do right now. But with that, believe it or not, that is the last trainer battle in the main story of this game. All that's left to do is challenge the Pokemon League. Oh man, I'm so excited for that. Okay, just want to check Wilma's ability here because I know for a fact that this guy over here, you should be proud of yourself having battled your way through Victory Road so courageously. In recognition of your feat, I'll teach you Double Edge. Would you like me to teach that technique? So this guy here is able to teach us Double Edge. We're going to hold off on that for the time being. It's a very strong normal type attack at the cost of doing recoil damage. However, Wilma has the ability Rockhead, which prevents recoil damage. So that turns Double Edge into a pretty solid move for her to learn. So yeah, we'll definitely want to consider that for options in a little bit. But we have finally reached the end of the road. Ignore the poison damage, it's not necessary. But if we go all the way up here, look where we are. Indigo Plateau. This has been our goal throughout our entire adventure, to come here, to become the pinnacle of Pokemon perfection. This is going to be the site of our final battles in this stream series. I've got a lot of training I need to do to make sure we are optimally prepared for this, and I'm going to need to go over all of our Pokemon options so that we can determine which of these Pokemon we've been journeying all this time with are going to be the ones to join us in the Hall of Fame. But we can just briefly showcase what we can find here. Yo, Champ of the Making! Pokemon League, you'll face the Elite Four all in a row. if you lose, you have to start all over again. This is it. Go for it. We, of course, have a little shop over here we can stop at. This is pretty much the best shop in the game. You can buy Ultra Balls, Great Balls. We can finally buy full Restores, which we're going to definitely want a bunch of. These are easily the best healing items in the game. They fully restore HP and status ailments all in one go. Definitely grab these. You can also grab max potions, but I don't really see the need for that. And you can also buy full heals, so that can be pretty good. But yep, at this point forward, there is only one thing that we can do. And that is prepare ourselves for a final challenge. Once we step through that door over there, we have to face the last trainers before we can truly call ourselves the strongest trainers in all of the Kanto region, the Pokemon League champion. So yep, we're going to need to do a lot of preparations to make sure we are ready for this final fight. So thank you for joining me in this leg of our Pokemon FireRed Nuzlocke adventure. It has really been a treat to play through this game again over these last few months. So I'll see you sometime next week, where we will finally crown ourselves the Pokemon League champion, or go down in defeat. Regardless of which outcome this is, this will be our final session. So I hope that you'll join me for that. And as always, take care.